this area has been inundated 1 or 2 meters 4 years ago. Looks like well recovered.
Sorry, I was wrong. This area is very inland, so no
Oh, I
worries.
see.
Sorry,
That's okay.
I didn't realize.
On page 4, this is where we're gonna go today. We started from Sakurami Onsen, the hot spring, and then we picked some view up in Hirose-dori. And then now we're going to be at Tesenuma, which is the northernmost of Miyagi Prefecture. And Tesenuma is the city, if you recall, watching news when the tsunami struck. Do you remember the tan that was that had caught the fire? It was oil tan. Yes. So that's the city where they had that kind of impact. And then also, some of you might remember the ship that was on the land. That was the ship that was also in Tesenuma. And that ship itself was deassembled and it's not there anymore. They moved probably about a year ago. Disaster, the yellow and the orange color is the how intensity was. Oh, and then yeah, the level of shaking, shake scale. It is Japanese standard, right? Yeah, it's different from other scale. And then the maximum seismic intensity was 7. The number is a little different because it's like a 2012 number, but in total, with missing and dead, it's more than or about 20,000 people. And then the tsunami inundated area is pretty big too. It's like 561 square kilometers, which is about the size of the Tokyo 23 ward. So that's huge. And then the whole impacted coastline is about 500 kilometers from north to south. Okay, and then in terms of recovery, I believe it's the Japan Society of Civil Engineering was sort of like the one who sort of initiated the conversation of L1, level 1 and level 2 tsunami. So level 1 tsunami is a tsunami that comes more frequent from several decades to once several hundred years. And then level 2 tsunami is the one that has less frequency but more in impact, like larger scale. So that comes like once every 1,000 years. And then so this tsunami of the 311 was the level 2 tsunami. And then in order to protect from level 1 or the level 2 tsunami, the way of rebuilding is basically to protect the level 1 tsunami, the page 7, the height of levee has been calculated. So for level 1 tsunami, basic protection is to have the levee that will sort of protect the land. And in case the level 2 tsunami comes, the water will come inland, But then, in order to protect the residences, the solution was either to sit back and move onto the higher land or raise land. And so on page 8, for example, is the solution what the governments have decided to present to the affected area. Going back to the height of the levee, it has been a big controversy or the discussion with the community and then also the government. Basically, people moved in by end of January, so they have started to have the most vulnerable people, the aged, and then probably who have less income, to be moving into the public housing. But then the problem that they are saying right now is that because they sort of couldn't really focus on the community, they had to bring everybody into a new big complex that's been built in, I think it's called Nanjo, and which is on the south of the city center. And how to rebuild, to develop a community that functions well, and then it's really difficult for them. And then also the other issue is that because they prioritize those vulnerable people, more than 50% of them are over age 65. So how are you going to operate that community that they're worried about? Now, so you're coming into Shishiyori district. Yeah, on page 8. Yeah. Jeremy's pointing where we are.
So it doesn't say what its use is going to be. I assume industry, and this is fisheries. Or to dismantle it.
So they took it away?
About a year ago, it was dismantled to allow that area to be raised. But yeah, like Kanako was saying, that was a big debate for a while. And this area experienced a lot of, like this shows, a lot of fire. Both because of oil tanks and another thing that caused a lot of fire here were home propane tanks. Because the heating in these areas, they don't have centralized city gas, methane. Individual homes have propane tanks, and
In the US, they do a lot of places too.
yeah, Sendai does. Sendai mostly has a city gas, so they didn't have fires there as much. But here, because of the propane tanks and large fuel tanks at the ports, there were fires.
Do people have like car insurance, for example, if they lose it, they...
You gotta ask Kanako that. She lost her husband lost their car. It was parked at Sendai Airport when the tsunami hit. So she should know the answer to that. I don't know.
The people were insured. But then if you're doing the land buyouts, if you're collectively relocating, they are selling their land. And they will have some money to
Buy another
probably
house.
construct a house again, but not very much.
So the house is fully subsidized by the government for the rebuilding if they are not, if they don't have the house insurance. How
No.
you-
So basically, they pretty much they have to be on their own for rebuilding.
Okay.
Unless if you're having the private insurance by themselves, but it's not really popular.
Okay, so it's not required by the government to
No,
have
it's
the
not required.
insurance.
No, because it's
For the
very-
homes and the cars, not required.
right. The car too. The car you don't really get money, even if
So
you
if they lost, then lost. If they don't have the saving.
right. It's really hard. And then so like the people who are younger, they borrow money from the bank, but some people like all the problem is like a dual loan. So the loan from the previous housing.
Housing, and
And
then they
then
have
the
to
yes.
have the new one.
Right,
So
right.
there is no, such a scheme that the government released, like in some Indonesian policy. They do have they got the discount, for example, from the previous loan, so they are
yes.
able to have the.
Right. For now, I don't think they have any solution for that yet. And for repairing, you get some subsidy the house. But if you totally lost
Totally
the house,
destroyed,
you
yeah.
can't really do anything. And so the people who are selecting to do the collective relocation that they sell, that is like land buyouts. So they sell their former land to the government, and then it's going to be it's going to be the land that's hazardous, so you won't be able to use as a residential land anymore.
yeah. Okay.
But then you get some money out of it.
But it's not on the market money. The market prices.
It's on the market. The market rate, and then there was a huge discussion whether to evaluate before or after the.
After is it?
After it's nothing. That's the
why
problem.
They have to, I think they settled to pay before.
That's reasonable because it's like giving a discount, like you said.
Right. That what the Indonesian government did for the earthquake, eruption, and also tsunami in Aceh. They got the discount if they still have the mortgage in the bank, because they cannot. And they lost their livelihood. So
Yeah. So it's hard for a lot of people.
Yeah.